His style is different. He very much lives his name, Uhuru. He's free and comfortable, perhaps too comfortable doing things that would not be considered presidential, like having his makeup done in the full glare of our cameras. As we settle down for a glimpse into a day in the life of a president, we get to learn that some of the most important decisions of state are made right here at the veranda outside his office, overlooking beautiful lawns with life-size carvings of elephants.
This is actually my favorite spot to unwind. Yeah? At least sometimes, just to get a few minutes, and sometimes, I can get the deputy president and we can have a meal together or... Yeah.
But away from stately duties, it's been a year later. Do you ever have just time to be you?
Well, indeed. It's been, and that is the truth, it has been very challenging because, trying to find time for family is very difficult. We try as much as possible, for example, on Sundays, etc., to see when we can actually get together and have some quality family time. Luckily for me, at least my two elder kids are doing their own things right now and moving on. And I just have one boy at home who is just about to do his own exams this year, and wishing him well, finding time to encourage him.
President Kenyatta, unlike his predecessor, does not live at State House and would normally arrive mid-morning, but his day starts much earlier at his home, just over the fence from State House.
Usually we're up at around 6. First thing you need to do sometimes is just go through what has happened through the course of the night in terms of security and etc., which has been a major challenge, as I'm sure you're fully aware. And then now from there is engaging with the different ministries in terms of their programs or decisions that they require to be made.
I noticed something in the garden. I don't know whether we can walk to the garden and see.
Yeah.
I noticed something in the garden there.
Are you able to walk?
Yes, sir.
You're still engaging.
I'm still very engaging, very active. So what about just this without even the animals and just overlooking here, gets to you? And because I understand you make a lot of decisions from there, right?
And that's why I'm saying, it helps you, reflect, and, it calms you down from a hectic day, regardless of political, like I'm saying, affiliation or what my personal views or feelings are. You have to be able to take decisions that sometimes may be hard, but are in the best interest. And you need time sometimes to internalize some of those very difficult decisions that you must make.
By his own admission, fashion isn't one of President Kenyatta's strongest attributes, but he chooses his own wardrobe anyway.
Well, I choose my wardrobe myself sometimes. People say that I'm not necessarily the best in terms of fashionista. I'm very...
Really?
Once I go for something, I stick with it.
Do you feel like you have to dress a certain way?
When you're working, you've got to be comfortable, right? And I personally am not a believer in stiffness or in a dress code. And I think that's what we really are trying to put out there. And to remove the stiffness that has been associated with the presidency, remove the formality. I think what we've brought is a lot less formality. We have tried to demystify State House. We have tried to demystify the presidency. We have tried to increase accessibility to the presidency. And this we do because we want people to be able to connect with, with their leaders. Before it was like, this is just the president's residence. It's not. This is the people's residence.
So, this is a concept that you brought yourself.
Yeah.
The animals?
Yes.
Why?
Well, as a family, and especially my wife, she's very much into conservation. So, having these models, number one, consistently reminds us of our own natural heritage. Tells us and constantly reminds us of our need to protect it for future generations.
Yes.
Yeah?
Very important.
To be able to enjoy. But more so, as you've seen here and out there, it reflects our local artists as well.
We sought to know why President Kenyatta opted to live at his private residence rather than enjoy the expansive gardens and the official residence of the president.
Well, I mean, I'm more comfortable at home at the end of the day. And, you know, it's a personal choice, because if I wanted to, I could.
Yes, yes.
But I think one lives where they're comfortable. So I live at home. Like I'm saying, you know, I start the day at home from 6. I have some of my meetings there. And usually come in here at around 10 o'clock. Run the day. And then usually home. And then for dinner, you know. The problem is what time that dinner takes place. It's always, I feel better that way, personally.
He is at U Kenyatta on Twitter and Instagram, and goes by his full name on Facebook. President Kenyatta says this is how he connects with Kenyans. But does he engage in person on these social platforms?
Yeah, let's be honest, I do. Especially when there are issues which I want to personally hear how Kenyans feel about a particular issue. But through the postings, I always, at least every day, go through what Kenyans have said. Right? And that helps inform me also as I'm making my decisions, because it gives you an opportunity to hear how Kenyans feel about certain decisions that you have made, how Kenyans feel about different countries depending on leaders that we have met. It gives you a way of connecting with Kenyans, knowing what they're feeling, and helps to inform you.
President Kenyatta, or Uhuru as his friends and family call him, is an easy and fun-loving person, a lover of music. Tell me if this is familiar.
It's very familiar, and it still remains my favorite group.
Oh, really?
It still remains my favorite group.
So you're UB40 all the way.
I only wish I could just do the things I used to do before and find time to go out and enjoy with my friends.
And do you get to see your friends?
Well, sometimes, but not as much as I used to. Because again, surely, you know, time doesn't allow, you know.
And who calls you, you know, who doesn't have to call you Mr. President? Who doesn't have to call you Your Excellency? What do they call you? Like your closest friends?
They still call me Uhuru. My wife still calls me Uhuru. My kids call me Dad. My family calls me Uhuru. My close friends call me Uhuru. That's the way.
And when you want to communicate with your kids, are you able to call them? How frequently do you talk to them? Can you text them?
Yeah. In fact, I wish I had my phone. I'd show you. We've just been talking with my son. We've been texting each other.
Oh, yeah? So now
he had an issue.
Oh, he did. And one of your sons is a designer. Do you wear some of his things?
At home.
At home. So he can custom make for you.
At home.
What's your preference in food? Like, what's that one meal that you really just have to have?
That's usually lunch. Yeah.
And what specifically?
Yeah, I've never changed. My diet has always been my own. I like my nyama choma. I like my ugali. I like my kienyeji. That hasn't changed.
It cannot change.
That cannot change.
Younger Kenyans would call this president hip and fun to be around. The very idea that you can crack jokes and pose for fun pictures with the president is new to the presidency. President, do you know what a selfie is?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do? Do you know how to take one?
Absolutely.
Can we have one?
The 2.5 of us.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Let's do one more. You're not smiling.
I am smiling. You're not smiling, though.
Yeah, now you're smiling.
How's
okay.
that?
Yeah.
Is that a good one?
Yes.
But we've missed
Yeah.
the half.
Wait, no, the half will come. Would you take selfies like when you're with your fellow presidents? Do you do that?
That I've not done. I
Would
must
you
admit.
do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you try?
Yeah, there's some who are pretty cool.
Yeah. Like
Who
yourself.
we really have good fun with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
As we pack up our equipment and leave the pristine surroundings of State House Nairobi, I cannot help but think that power hasn't really changed this man. But as to whether he is living up to the expectations of the people of Kenya depends on whether you are speaking to his critics or to his supporters. Jackie Maribe for The Big Question.